we all saw this happening, right? I mean, from the moment that Daniel Bryan went to Vince McMahon, and we heard the rumors last week that he told Vince, I don't want to show up the crown jewel. I don't want to show up in Saudi Arabia. We all saw this happening. And hours before SmackDown hit the air last night, I received word that Vince McMahon was furious at Daniel Bryan. Now, I fully believe this report anyway, but what I like to do when I hear something like that is I like to go over my facts, do my research, and the first thing I thought of was RVD. Rob Van Dam telling Vince McMahon, I don't want to show up to tribute to the troops. And Vince McMahon was relentless that he show up. And RVD was like, Vince, I don't think you understand. I'm not going to be there. And Vince would tell RVD, don't worry, everyone's going, you'll love it, it'll be a career moment. And RVD didn't know what else to tell Vince. Day after day, Vince McMahon would not accept the fact and kept telling him, you have to show up. To the point where Rob Van Dam literally thought he was going to get fired or he was going to fight Vince McMahon. Probably both. That's how much Vince McMahon was not letting it go and not letting RVD off the hook. Now, luckily for RVD, there was some type of security issue days before, so it literally became a voluntary situation and RVD was let off the hook. But I fully believe, and RVD fully believes, he would have been canned. He would have been fired. Or he would have gotten into a fight with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon will not let you off shows like this. And on top of that, you go to what Vince McMahon has always said. When I promote you, you show up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because for Vince McMahon, it's all about the bottom dollar. The almighty dollar. So we knew that Vince McMahon was not going to be happy with Daniel Bryan. Now, this latest report that I received yesterday, that he's furious with Bryan, I could kind of see that, man. A week before a huge event for Vince McMahon, you're going to come to him in one of your 3 main events. You are in one of his 3 main events. It's a triple main event. And you're going to tell him I ain't showing up. Because he saw John Cena do it. John Cena went to Vince and said, I'm not showing up. But the difference is, Daniel Bryan, globally, entertainment-wise, is not in the same league as John Cena. Better wrestler? Absolutely. Daniel Bryan's a better wrestler. Do we love Daniel Bryan more than Cena? Probably, right? As far as WWE is concerned, maybe. But John Cena is following in the footsteps of The Rock. He's never going to be able to fill those footsteps, but he's following in those footsteps. And that's what Vince McMahon loves. He wants those people that can go out into Hollywood and really promote the brand of WWE. So John Cena can do something like this and it saves face for him and probably the company. So I'm sure they had a long talk, Vince and John Cena. And they came to a conclusion, and John Cena will not be punished for this. In fact, they probably decided that might be the best business decision for both of them. But Daniel Bryan looking at the situation and thinking he's in the same league as John Cena, that's like saying the offensive lineman for the Patriots is in the same league as Tom Brady. No, 2 different leagues. One is part-time and headed in Hollywood, already in Hollywood, and promoting the brand in a whole nother level. And then there's you, who is an active current wrestler full-time right now, even though he wants to do more part-time so he can travel less. But you're full-time right now. You're about to receive this big push. You are in one of the 3 main events, so heavily promoted, and you're telling the promoter, I'm not going to be there because morally I don't feel right about it. Now, trust me, morally I think that's awesome. He's standing his ground with his personal beliefs, and he believes them so much and so passionately. That's epic. However, that's not to say that a guy like AJ Styles or a guy like Samoa Joe or a guy like Dolph Ziggler or a guy like Braun Strowman, that they're morally incapable of standing up to those standards or being kept up to those standards. You're basically saying that Samoa Joe and AJ Styles are not as morally sound as Daniel Bryan. I call bullshit. That's great, he's standing up for this world belief that he has, but AJ Styles and guys like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, they're standing up for the commitment that they had to the company and to the people that were going to show up to that event. They're standing up to their commitments and their words. Their word is their bond. They committed to something and they're going to follow through. They may feel a different way, absolutely. The company may be receiving money from people that are not all too nice in the world. I get it. But what about the innocent people that are also against that and just wanted to show up and watch their favorite wrestlers? There's no obligation to them, the innocent people that just want to go and watch the wrestling show? Not everybody is totally down for what their government is doing, or their dictator, or their president, or their king and queen, or whatever your fucking highest person in the country is. Not everyone is believing in what they believe in, or is for what they are for. A lot of people are against that. Trust me, I live in the United States. Our president is Donald Trump, and a lot of people do not like this guy. So I know that a country doesn't necessarily support their leader. There's still so many innocent people that just want to be entertained. They do want the change. Something like WWE could help that. But I understand the flip side. Please, keep your comments. BC, you don't understand what this means for the world. And I get it. I get that this is not ideal for anyone or anything or any entity. I'm sure this is not Vince McMahon's ideal situation. He decided to stay on this event and keep this event and keep it in Saudi Arabia for the dollar. I get it. So what's the right answer? Everybody just boycott the event? Maybe. Some people may think that is the answer. What I do know is Daniel Bryan is the only guy that we know of the full-time roster, not John Cena or part-timer. Out of the main roster's full-time roster, Daniel Bryan's the only one that we know of that pulled out, and that's one of his top stars. So I don't know if that was supposed to set off a chain reaction, if that was supposed to show that I'm a leader and I'm going to do this, because nobody followed. That goes to show you what they think of Daniel Bryan as a leader, evidently. But what it does even more is it shows you that Vince McMahon, business-wise, is he ever going to be able to trust Daniel Bryan ever again? In something like WWE, if Vince McMahon decides to give Daniel Bryan the strap, you have to go everywhere. You have to go to different countries. So you're telling me if Daniel Bryan doesn't agree with something that is happening in any given country at any given time, morally, he's just going to go to Vince and say, I don't want to do it. I don't feel right. And Vince is just going to be, oh, okay, you're my champion. You're the main event. You're the heavily promoted star of the show. But okay, we'll last minute, we'll fucking have to pull you. Who's to say this is the last time this is going to happen? So this is why this is not good for Daniel Bryan, guys. Is Vince McMahon going to be able to trust Daniel Bryan again? I think the answer is no. I'm not saying that's the right decision, but I think if you're Vince McMahon, he's not gonna. Bosses and business people look at their employees in one of two ways. You're either a liability or a reliability. They want you to be a reliability. What Daniel Bryan just did makes him a liability. You want to look at someone like Daniel Bryan and go, wow, what a morally awesome dude. He did the right thing. He's morally sound. He's passionate about his beliefs. He's really trying to help the world. That's awesome. But for the company, for the people, the innocent people that wanted to show up to the show, for his peers that are trying to put on this show, I don't know, kind of let them down epically. So you stand up for what you believe in. That's awesome. I'm not telling the guy to show up, by the way. I'm not on either side of the fence. I'm playing the devil's advocate. I'm looking at it from both ways. He did something morally awesome for himself, his family, his beliefs. That's great. On the flip side, how can you now expect Vince McMahon to trust him again with a championship or promoting him in a big match ever again outside of the United States? And where does it end? If California pisses Daniel Bryan off, does Daniel Bryan pull out? So I got word again hours before SmackDown that Daniel Bryan was in the doghouse. I fully believed it. I did my research. I looked at all the Vince McMahon's interviews that he did talking about when he promotes you, you better show up. No ifs, ands, or buts. I looked at RVD's interview when he tried to get out a tribute to the troops and Vince McMahon would not let him, to the point where RVD thought he was going to be fired if it wasn't for those security issues days before. And this screams Daniel Bryan's in the doghouse. But it was never more evident than the kickoff of SmackDown last night. We started SmackDown with Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. The crown jewel main event was kicking off SmackDown. Boggled my mind that you would give off that match on television But we knew why it was being done. For those of you that are wondering why AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan wasn't saved to the main event, it was because then you couldn't set up Samoa Joe AJ Styles for Crown Jewel. If that's the main event, Samoa Joe attacks AJ Styles, you can't set that up for Crown Jewel because then we fade to black, go off the air. Nobody knows that Samoa Joe is taking on AJ Styles now. So that's why it wasn't the main event last night. Also, I don't think Vince McMahon wanted to put Daniel Bryan in his main event. I think he's that pissed off at Daniel Bryan. And you can just look at the finish of that match. Vince McMahon had Daniel Bryan tap out in less than 20 seconds to AJ Styles' calf crusher. A guy like Daniel Bryan, any other person, I would say that's an embarrassment for a guy like Daniel Bryan to tap out. But because it's AJ Styles, I won't say it's such an embarrassment. But when you remember WrestleMania 13, Stone Cold versus Bret Hart, the sharpshooter is applied on Stone Cold. Stone Cold's got blood coming down his face. He's in that sharpshooter for what seems like minutes, and he refuses to tap out. He passes out, and that's the only way he lost. And then you look at Daniel Bryan, a guy with so much pride, and he taps out in less than 20 seconds. And you know that's Vince McMahon fucking with Daniel Bryan. A guy who's got so much pride, Vince McMahon's going to try to pluck at it. He's going to try to nitpick at that pride. And he's going to make him tap out in the middle of the ring. That's some shit. That says a lot. For some people, you just watched it and didn't think twice, did you? You're probably just like, oh, he tapped out. How many times you see Daniel Bryan tap out middle of the ring? And not even really put up a fight. 20 seconds. BC, he was selling a leg injury earlier, and so it makes sense. No, it's Daniel Bryan. That had Vince McMahon's fingerprints all over that ending. Tapping out is exactly how Vince McMahon wanted that match to end. He wanted to embarrass Daniel Bryan any way he could. The problem is it's with AJ Styles. It's never an embarrassment to tap out to AJ Styles. However, you are supposed to put up a fight. Daniel Bryan should have been in that a lot longer than he was. Tapping the fuck out to AJ Styles was shocking at first to me. But then I remembered, shouldn't be that shocking. Daniel Bryan's in the doghouse, and what we saw last night was the first of many scenarios where you're probably going to see Daniel Bryan in that doghouse. If you guys think this is going to end last night, you got another thing coming. Don't be surprised if after Crown Jewel, Daniel Bryan continues to be in the doghouse. Vince McMahon has a proven track record that when you're in his doghouse, he keeps you there for months to teach you a lesson. I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Bryan is booked like an absolute clown from here on out for the foreseeable future. I hope that's not the case. But, I'm hoping that cooler heads prevail and Vince McMahon will still see money and value in Daniel Bryan and not look at him as such a liability. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Vince McMahon is severely frustrated, pissed off, furious at Daniel Bryan. And again, I heard this hours before SmackDown. Then you see him tapping out last night at the beginning of SmackDown. Daniel Bryan is in a whirl of hurt company-wise. I don't think he gives a fuck, though. He signed that big contract. He's going to get paid no matter what. You want him to stay home, Vince? He'll stay home with his baby girl, with his fucking wife, with Bree and Birdie, and he'll collect his money. He wants to wrestle, but if you're going to be childish, Daniel Bryan, he'll sit home and collect his paychecks. I'm sure that's Daniel Bryan's way of thinking. But, that's what we got at the kickoff of SmackDown last night, guys. We got that Crown Jewel main event. I was curious to see how they were going to do it. How do you just take a main event and put it into this show? They just did it. AJ Styles was like, I'll defend this right now, Daniel. And Daniel's like, yeah, I'll face you right now for that title. Shane McMahon comes out and he makes the match, and that was it. An impromptu match between Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles on television, on SmackDown. I cannot stand that shit because we got 3 full commercials during that match. We couldn't get any fucking consistency. We couldn't get any fucking rhythm in this match, and it was actually a good match. Imagine if we actually saw the whole thing. That's why you don't put an epic match like that, what some would consider, myself included, a dream match, on fucking television. And even worse, in an impromptu way. You can look at it as, wow, it was shocking, But it wasn't that shocking. We knew Daniel Bryan wasn't showing up Friday, so we knew he was going to get pulled either way. So they give us this impromptu match, so the crowd was never that into it. I mean, there was moments where they were like, yeah, but there was never a moment where everybody was on their feet. More people were on their feet for their trick or street fight match between Big E and Cesaro than were on their feet for AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. That's just the truth. That's the facts. Go back and watch. You know, if you had more time and you promoted it, even Crown Jewel was too early. This should have been promoted for something much better, like SummerSlam and even WrestleMania. But they were putting it on a Crown Jewel. But at least then we would have gotten a full 25-minute match with no commercials. Here, we got a 15-minute match with 3 full commercials. And somehow, I shouldn't say somehow, it's AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, so I'm not surprised. They still put on a good match. Imagine if we got it at a pay-per-view. But anyway, that kicks off SmackDown. As I mentioned earlier, Samoa Joe interferes, attacks AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, puts them both in coquina clutches, and now Samoa Joe is going on to take on AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. He is Daniel Bryan's replacement. So, I think it's a good replacement, but now you have all the clowns coming out on social media. Samoa Joe has to win Friday. Samoa Joe needs to win Friday. Samoa Joe deserves this victory. Are you guys that fucking stupid? Do you honestly think AJ Styles deserves to lose that strap at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on a Friday afternoon after holding that title for nearly a year? Nearly a fucking year. And you guys are okay with him losing it on a Friday afternoon in Saudi Arabia? AJ Styles deserves better than that. I don't care who the fuck you think deserves the strap next. If you want it on Joe that passionately, then it's at another time and another date. He didn't wait that long. He's only been on the main roster 2 years tops, correct? The fuck are you telling me? He deserves it that much. He needs it that much that AJ deserves to lose it on a Friday afternoon in Saudi Arabia. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You do not deserve a voice in the pro wrestling community if you honestly feel that way. That goes for anybody. Everybody in one fucking pool that honestly believes AJ Styles should drop that strap Friday, you are a dumb motherfucker, and I can only hope you're not subscribed to this fucking channel, because the Amplified unit is so much smarter than that. We all love Joe. I hate the word deserves, but I'm okay with you using it for Joe. Joe was kept off of 2 WrestleManias when he was fully capable of performing. The first one was when he was being called up the night after. But he was ready to perform there at WrestleMania. He left NXT way before he was ready for WrestleMania, and they kept Samoa Joe off for no fucking reason. He could have showed up and made an epic debut. Instead, he shows up with everybody else the night after. The second one, he was injured beforehand, but he was cleared weeks before WrestleMania, and they chose to keep him off again. So screwed out of WrestleManias. The guy is one of the best promo guys in the business. Constantly delivering great promo after great promo. He just gave an epic performance in this last feud with AJ Styles. He's a good wrestler, especially for his fucking size. Ground game, he can do a fucking suicide dive, and 2 minutes later he's giving you a coquina clutch. I get it. But AJ Styles doesn't deserve to drop that strap on a Friday afternoon in Saudi Arabia after this fucking long. AJ Styles deserves better than that. Everybody fucking deserves the championship whenever people snap their finger. AJ Styles is stale now. We need a fresh new look on the championship scene, BC. No! You would have never lasted as a fan back in the day. I say this all the time. When guys like Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund and Hulk Hogan were holding the strap for years, what the fuck would you guys have done? You would have put your head through walls. Me? I love that shit. That makes a champion. That means when somebody beats them, it is the most epic fucking moment and you'll never forget it. I'll never forget when Hulk Hogan dropped championships. I'll never forget when Bob Backlund or Bruno dropped their straps. Nowadays, every 4 months there's a new champion at best. Usually it's every 2 months. Every 3 months, everyone's fucking bored and everything's stale. There needs to be a new champion. Everybody that comes through the curtain deserves it. The championship should be your ultimate goal, something you strive for, no doubt, but that doesn't make or break somebody. I'm starting to see everybody come out and going, if Joe doesn't win it Friday, he's done. It's an official burial of Samoa Joe. Bullshit! How about we put the fucking blame where it should be? On the fucking storylines and the lack thereof. If you're building a guy correctly, he doesn't necessarily need that strap. One of my favorites in this business has always been the Big Boss Man. The Big Boss Man never held that championship. He was always in the mid-card, but he always felt like a main eventer because he was always booked as such. Because he was a fucking full-throttle epic character. Some of the best feuds I remember growing up was from the Big Boss Man. Not a champion, just a mid-carder, yet some of the best feuds ever. With Nails, with the Mountie. This motherfucker was the shit. And he never really got that title opportunity. You know, in today's wrestling, what we had in the mid-card years ago, the Mr. Perfects, the Tito Santanas, the Rick Martells, the Boss Mans, the British Bulldogs, those type of guys that were mid-carders back in the day, but epic wrestlers, today, those are the main eventers, those are the heavyweight champions. Gone are the guys like the Macho Mans, the Hulk Hogans, the Ultimate Warriors, the Stingers. There's no more guys like that anymore. There's no more ultimate, larger-than-life characters. Those have been replaced by what used to be mid-carders. So now today we have mid-carders. We got the Seth Rollinses, the Dean Ambroses. I know that's hard to hear. That might sound insulting to a lot of people. It's not meant to be an insult. Ambrose, Rollins, epic wrestlers. Back in the day, those are mid-carders. Any fan that's been watching for years and years, you're not newer to the product, you're not too young, you know what I'm talking about. You know damn well Ambrose, Rollins, guys like that, those would have been mid-carders back in the day. So you could say then, isn't that a good thing, BC? That they're main eventers now and they have heavyweight championships? Isn't that an evolution of wrestling, BC? It's definitely an evolution, but I ain't gonna lie to you, I miss the larger-than-life motherfuckers. If Brock Lesnar showed up more and did more events, then damn right Brock Lesnar deserves that strap. Guys like Braun Strowman deserve that strap. Even Roman Reigns, if booked properly. You should always strive to be the best. You should always strive to hold the championship. Bret Hart is a prime example. He started out as a mid-carder, and he actually got the heavyweight championship. He worked his butt off so much and became so epic and got so over that he became the main eventer. Sometimes that happens organically back in the day. But that was only for a specific few. And everything had to work itself out perfectly for that to happen and Vince McMahon to give you that epic stage. But my point is this, even though those guys didn't have straps, guys, and weren't always in the main event, the Mr. Perfects, the Big Boss Mans, the Tito Santanas, the Rick Martells, they were always in good storylines. They were always relevant. You were always talking about them. Never did we think, oh, they're done or they're a jobber. We always believed that at any point they could make it to the main event, but we never needed it because they were booked so beautifully. They always had awesome stories. You loved the feuds that they were in. Their place on the card always felt so special. Nowadays, everybody deserves a main event. Everybody deserves a championship. You'll have Apollo Crews in the mid-card one day, and who knows, on Raw the next week, he's in the main event. You got Seth Rollins holding a tag team championships. The next day, he's a fucking intercontinental champion. The next day, he's a fucking heavyweight champion. There's no consistency. There's no rhythm anymore in this company. Everybody just deserves everything now. AJ Styles, the best in the fucking world, we all said. He's got the championship and now it's too long. He's stale. It's boring. Samoa Joe now deserves it. And you know what's going to happen for those fans that think everybody deserves it? In 2 months, Samoa Joe is going to be stale and boring to them. Because they got their moment to see Joe with the strap. They got their moment to yell, "You deserve it." They got their little chance. Again, it'd be great if Joe gets it. More than he deserved it, I'm going to use the word earned it. He has earned it. But he doesn't need that now, nor should he get it Friday. AJ Styles should absolutely walk out of Crown Jewel with the strap. If Joe gets the championship in his WWE career, awesome. Again, he earned it. If he doesn't, it wouldn't make a difference. He still can be one of the best if they book him the right way, and if his character is larger than life. And if that's the case, he'll find his way in those main events, and he'll find his way to numerous championships. But you have to start at your character, and you have to start at the booking. It's okay to have years of meaningful feuds in the mid-card. You can still be somebody. You don't always have to be in the fucking main event of every show. You don't always have to have a fucking strap around your shoulder, around your waist. Wrestling never used to be like this. Now it's a revolving door of champions. A revolving door of people in the main event for a few months and then they're back in the mid-card. And it's just non-stop. Nobody cares about building characters or stories or feuds anymore. And that's why the crowd gets so bored after just a month of a champion or a month of a feud. I don't know, guys. It's a catch-22, right? On the one hand, your ultimate goal in this business should be, anyway, to be the best, to hold the strap. On the other hand, not everybody can achieve their goal because if they did, this business wouldn't survive. It would be a revolving door and every 2 weeks we'd have a new champion. So I hate to be the dream crusher, right? And the dream destroyer and ruin people's fucking dreams and, slash their fucking goals and their aspirations in half. But the truth is, not all of those competitors can hold the heavyweight championship because the business would never survive that way. It's based on actual champions holding the championships for lengthy times, and when they finally get beat, it's an epic moment. If people will just let this AJ Styles run fucking breathe and not always want him to lose it every fucking month because he supposedly is a stale champion, fuck that. He's one of the best wrestlers in the fucking world. The fuck out of here. Let it fucking breathe. I love what they did with both titles. If Brock Lesnar just showed up more, I would have been totally fine with Brock holding the championship that long. A lengthy title run, just like Styles. Styles doesn't have a stale fucking title run. It's just that everybody is so absent-minded these days in their phones or in their laptops, waiting for the next thing. They're so impulsive. They don't let things just fucking wait. They don't wait it out. They don't let things unfold. They don't let themselves enjoy shit because they're just on to the next. AJ Styles started this thing off with fucking triple threat match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. How is that not a kick-ass match? Owens and Zayn are some of the best in the world. Awesome triple threat. Fastlane, he was in a six-pack challenge. He was in a feud with fucking Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, yes, it didn't live up to the fucking hype, but that's what we all claimed we wanted to see, and we saw it a few times. He took on Rusev, which everyone was yelling Rusev Day. Took on Rusev, took care of him. A good feud with Samoa Joe, and I mean an awesome feud, an awesome story. People didn't like it because the title didn't change hands. Too fucking bad. Nor should it have. AJ Styles is the best in the fucking world. Fuck that little gimmick tournament they got at fucking Crown Jewel. Fuck CM Punk, one of the fucking worst in the world. Go, I'm the best in the world. Fuck the cliches and the slogans. He literally is. AJ Styles, the best in the fucking world. And you can have your Kenny Omegas in the list and some guys from Japan, I understand. But you damn well better bet AJ Styles is in your fucking conversation. And in my book, number one. And everyone just wants him to lose every time he's up at the pay-per-views, man. Stop. Let this thing breathe out. Man. If Joe wins the championship at Crown fucking Jewel in Saudi Arabia on a Friday afternoon, all of that AJ Styles run, that almost a year-long run, was for that? And there's fans out there that are happy about that because Joe got the strap. You needed Joe with that strap so fucking bad. That's what you were willing to do. How about we just put Joe in meaningful feuds and story? Why does he need the championship? Pro wrestling should be more than just the championship. And I'm not going to contradict myself. Absolutely it should be. I'll say this for the millionth time. The ultimate prize, your ultimate goal, the thing you're striving for, to be the best. No question. But it's not what wrestling's based on. It's the character in the story before anything else. And I will show you guys that I mean exactly what I am telling you, that I stand behind it 100% because I said that about Sasha Banks months ago. When we found out Rousey was going to hold that championship, what people call hostage, but I fully believe that is the best thing for the company. That's exactly what should be happening. When you grab somebody like Ronda Rousey, you give her the championship and you let her run with it. And you put the company on an epic stage. No doubt, Vince McMahon made the right decision. Whether you like it or not, guys, that's business 101. Ronda Rousey should be holding that championship. I don't care if you think she deserves it or not. That's not even the point. But I told you guys months ago, that doesn't mean it's the end of... Everyone's like, oh, it's the end of Sasha now. It's fucking Sasha. And then they put her in the tag team with Bayley, and people are going, see, that's the best thing for Sasha because at least she's going to be in matches, BC. At least she'll be on Raw, BC. No, both of you are wrong. The person that was saying, oh, Ronda's champ now, so it's the end of Sasha, and the people that are saying, oh, she's with Bayley, so at least she's going to have something to do on Raw, BC. You're both wrong. Sasha could still be being epic right now. If she was in meaningful stories, if booking put her in meaningful feuds, that didn't necessarily have to be for the title, but they invested time in her. Sasha Banks would be more relevant today than when she had the championship for 4 times collectively for like 2 or 3 months, if that. Like I said about the Big Boss Man, I remember some of his feuds more than some of the champions. You just gotta book them correctly and let them run with it. Sasha Banks doesn't need the championship. What we need first from Sasha, from booking and creative, we need them to give her the time, the feuds, the stories, and let her run. If you do it correctly, in the future, she'll have her moment. Nobody lets things just breathe anymore. Nobody lets things just ride out. Nobody lets things evolve. An actual evolving, an actual evolution. We live in a give it to me now society. Give it to me now world. I want it now. I want new. I want this. I want it to be a fresh championship run is what I just heard yesterday. BC, I think we should have a fresh take on the championship. I think AJ should drop it. If you think I went long on this subject, I didn't go long enough. This is something that is killing this business. And I spoke a little bit about it before, and I'm speaking today a lot about it because it just pisses me off when I'm reading on the internet over the last fucking 10 hours. I went to bed late last night. I get up early this morning, and everything I'm seeing is Samoa Joe needs this. He has to have it. It's the end of him if he doesn't get it. Relax. It's a Friday afternoon in Saudi Arabia. He doesn't deserve to take it there. He should not take it in Saudi Arabia. If he deserves it, it should be on a much bigger stage, I would think. Right? I mean, that's a contradiction of people saying that. He deserves it so bad, you're willing to just watch him win it there? Oh, BC, I'd be happy if he just wins it at a house show. He just needs to have it. Okay, he needs to have it. Bullshit. Again, I'll fully agree he earned it. He has earned the right. That doesn't mean you just throw it on him. I'll end the topic there and I'll go along with the rest of the fucking SmackDown fucking card. But it's a big problem we have in today's wrestling society, wrestling community, wrestling fan. It can't be a revolving door. Stop that shit. Honestly. I mean, your "you deserve it" to Samoa Joe is meaningless when you yell "you deserve it" to Nia Jax after she wins a fucking meaningless battle royal. Please, get the fuck out of here with that shit, bro. So we're going to move on now, guys, but I had to say that because, you know, I see so much material out there in the wrestling community, whether it's online on a fucking website from some fucking wrestling journalist, whether it's some dirt sheet, whether it's a fucking fellow YouTuber, podcaster, Twitcher, whatever the fuck. You know, and nobody really, like, gets into the specifics, the real fucking core details of what is thriving in a business, especially WWE, and why WWE is failing. The little things, not just the big things. And if those little things are not attended to, those little things keep adding up and they become a big fucking thing. Sometimes I feel I'm the only one talking about this shit. And honestly, guys, this is going to sound egotistical and I don't give a fuck. I honestly believe 100%, wholeheartedly, I am the smartest person in the wrestling community. I really do. And there's no way to say that. That's going to make it sound not egotistical. I understand that. But I just am. I fully believe that because I speak the most fucking truth and facts. Nobody else does that. And I understand there's other people like me out there. I understand there's other people that we fit the same style. But there's only one B motherfucking C. I assure you of that in many ways. There is only one B motherfucking C. But when it comes to just straight knowledge and dropping facts, there is nobody like me, man. And that's why fucking, I feel it's almost like my fucking duty. It's my obligation to inform. And I'm not saying you all gotta run with what I'm saying, but listen to my fucking words. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusion. And I assure you, 99.99.99% of the time, you'll come back and you'll go, BC, after thinking about it, you're fucking right, man. This is exactly what's happening. Or this is why this is happening. Or now that I think about it, you're right on that subject. You're right on that topic. I know. I live this shit every fucking day. My mind works differently than most. Sometimes that's a blessing, sometimes not so much. But when it comes to pro wrestling, man, I see what's happening and I see what direction we're going in. It's not a bed of roses, man. We're in serious trouble if we don't fix shit. But I will move on. It's my fucking... I can make this a 2-hour video if I want. Fuck. Can I? It's my channel, man. Let me fucking fly with this shit. Let me make my first ever 2-hour... No, I'm playing. We can't go... I actually got shit to do, so I can't make this 2 hours. So I went so long on that, I do have to kind of run through the rest of the card pretty quick, but that's all right. The main story is AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, and Samoa Joe. Anyway, Samoa Joe replaces Daniel Bryan at Crown Jewel. That's the main story. We got to that in very in-depth and in very detailed fashion. The rest of the card went a little like this. A trick or street fight with Big E versus Cesaro. You got all the fucking shenanigans with fucking pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns and skeletons. The New Day comes out as The Brood. I don't know if a lot of you guys remember The Brood, but that was Gangrel, Christian, Edge. They weren't around for that long. It wasn't too long after where Edge kind of separated, Christian separated. Gangrel didn't even last that long in WWE. But together they formed the Brood, and they had pretty cool theme music. They came out with like the smoke and the fire, and they always had this red mist that was supposed to be blood. They would always hit their opponents with that. I always remember the Brood, man, and it's one of those things like, where are they now? We know where Edge is. We know where Christian is. We don't really know what happened to Gangrel. You know, I always think about superstars like that from time to time. So it was cool to see the New Day come out as the Brood. I don't know what the fuck Cesaro and Sheamus did. They came out like Casper the Ghost, I guess. I don't know what the fuck. As if fucking Sheamus can get any fucking whiter. He's got white powder or something on. Big Show is out there. Big Show is actually taking on Big E. Am I right? I said Cesaro. Maybe it was Big E versus Big... No, wasn't it? It doesn't fucking matter. These 6 people I don't want to see at Crown Jewel. The Big Show in the bar taking on the New Day, really? Although I will say this. That Trick or Street fight last night was highly entertaining. Wildly entertaining, man. You saw fucking Big E doing his move on, I think it was Cesaro. I will say Cesaro. On a fucking jack-o'-lantern. Cesaro is backflipping Big E on the jack-o'-lanterns. Fucking... You had a little bit of everything, man. And what could have been something that we all are just embarrassed to watch, it was actually pretty good. Big E and Cesaro obviously putting on a fucking damn good match. Somehow, with all these fucking props around the ring, they're still putting on a damn good match. Were people going through tables too? Yeah, I think the tables were breaking. At the end of this match, fucking Kofi Kingston fell off the apron. Corey Graves starts cracking up. And every time Corey Graves laughs at somebody like fucking up, like Titus O'Neil flying at, what the fuck was that pay-per-view? Titus O'Neil almost went fucking head first. What was that pay-per-view, man? Wasn't that the first? It was before Super Showdown. I'm gonna forget. But Titus O'Neil almost fucking shit the bed big time. He did shit the bed big time. If the LED board was there, he would have been hurt. Luckily it wasn't. He wasn't hurt, so we could all laugh at it. Last night we saw Kofi Kingston fall off the apron. Corey Graves starts cracking up. I knew it, so I start cracking up. I was hoping they were gonna replay it, but I'm kind of glad they didn't, because then I wouldn't stop laughing for the rest of the fucking night. But the match was actually good, and again, like I said, more people were on their feet for the Trick or Street fight match than AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. I don't know what that says about today's crowd, because we at home got 3 commercial breaks. We have something to be pissed about. They actually got the whole match, but they like Big E and Cesaro better, it looked like, so hey. After that match, you had Shane McMahon backstage. He was telling Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, and The Miz that whoever makes it to the final at Crown Jewel for the Best in the World tournament, if you don't win that final, don't come back to SmackDown. You're no longer welcomed here. So whoever makes it to the final for SmackDown, they have to win it, or they're basically fired. They're going to show up to Monday Night Raw. So that's interesting. If somebody does, then that tells you that somebody must be going over to SmackDown then in some way. I have no fucking idea what that's all about. R-Truth takes on Shinsuke Nakamura. This was actually a decent match, but also this was a much-needed match for Shinsuke. They actually gave them a little bit of time in this match. It was against somebody who can actually wrestle him, like R-Truth. Because Shinsuke, even though he's the United States champion, he's kind of left on the back burner. He's a forgotten entity. I always forget about Shinsuke because he's never in anything relevant. So he needed this match. Shinsuke ends up winning this match, but it doesn't really matter. The main focal point in this match was dance break! Carmella slips in the ring. They yell out for the dance break. Carmella's flossing, and everything is right with the world. Again, I don't know why. It's cheesy as fuck, but I love these fucking dance breaks. I think all of us, at least once during our day, whether you're stressful, you're having a stressful moment, or maybe you're just having a great fucking day, but once in the day, I don't care if you're in fucking the middle of fucking Stop and Shop, if you're in the middle of Starbucks, Home Depot, middle of 5th Avenue, if you're at the dinner table, just yell out, dance break, and bust a fucking move. Floss like your life depends on it. Becky Lynch then comes out for a promo. She cuts a promo on Ronda Rousey, but the real zinger here was to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Bella. because there's a point here, let me get this correct. Becky Lynch said, I'm not here to cosplay or talk about a reality show. They were beat before the opening bell. So cosplay is obviously a diss right to Alexa Bliss because she loves the whole cosplay. And then I'm not here to talk about a reality show was obviously a dig and a jab to Nikki Bella. And then she said both were defeated before the opening bell. So she's saying like mentally and on paper, everybody knew it was a absolute conclusion. Ronda was going to walk out the victor. But Becky's saying, not with me. With me, people know this is an actual match. So those are some real jabs at Nikki Bella and Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, I don't know if she actually took offense or just thought it was a joke, but she took to Twitter and she said something like, yeah, I cosplayed, but at least I beat you. I think she said to Becky Lynch on Twitter. And Becky Lynch came back with another jab to Alexa Bliss about being on the sidelines. At least I'm in, the main matches and not on the sidelines. Something like that. Because Alexa Bliss is always injured. So Becky Lynch on Twitter is just ruthless. Like, she's like the mean girl from high school. Like, you don't want to get on her bad side because she will blow you up. So she takes a dig at Alexa Bliss, a jab during her promo, but then on Twitter, she really goes for the knockout punch. Nikki Bella, as far as I know as of now, did not respond to Becky Lynch's jab. So that was Becky Lynch's promo. Again, it was supposed to be to Ronda, but it was more to Alexa and Nikki Bella. The main event here was nonsensical. Mysterio and Hardy versus Orton and Miz. Okay, there was nothing I needed to give a shit about in this match. I don't give a fuck about the Best of the World tournament. I don't give a fuck about Randy Orton. Think about this, guys. Randy Orton, second week in a row, is ending SmackDown by just being on the rope and giving his little Orton pose. That was it. That's it. First ever women's pay-per-view, Evolution, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series. 3 big events for WWE, all within 1 month's time frame. And Randy Orton is ending all of your SmackDowns on the turnbuckle posing. Randy Orton, fuck that! And fuck you if you're actually okay with that ending. That's how creative they got. The show itself as a whole was actually a good show. I enjoyed it. Again, Becky Lynch going out there taking jabs in a promo. Shinsuke got some fucking time finally. A pretty cool, not embarrassing trick or street fight match with Big E and Cesaro. Obviously AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan to kick this thing off. The main event is the only thing that was lackluster to me. The ending to SmackDown was absolute bullshit, nonsensical garbage. The show as a whole, I'm gonna give it a good, but that's the best you got for the ending? The main event, I think we could have done better, man. You got Crown Jewel Friday, you got Survivor Series in just 3 weeks, and Randy Orton is your lasting image for 2 weeks in a row. Why? Are you honestly about to give him just this epic one last big push? If that is the case, maybe I'm okay with this. But you better go full throttle. All of these Randy Orton ending SmackDowns is for what? Maybe he wins the Best in the World tournament, and then what? Then he's back to 50-50 mid-card booking? Randy Orton had what it took to be one of the best in this business. He drastically, the last 3 years at least, took a nosedive. I don't know if he can recapture lightning in a bottle like he did when he first arrived on the scene as the Legend Killer. I don't know if that can ever happen again. There's been a few times where he's kind of reinvented his character a little bit. He created some buzz. We were behind it. And then dies really quick. So I just don't know what they have in store for him. Maybe he's like scaring the shit out of all the writers. Maybe he scares the shit out of all the creative guys. Remember that a few weeks ago, there was word that, was it Court Bauer? Somebody came out and said that Randy Orton would always fuck with the new writers and the new creative people. Maybe he's just a backstage bully to the point where they're just like, hey, Vince doesn't really care about the end. Let's just give it to Randy. Let's make Randy happy. Who knows? I just know that it's not entertaining for me. And I actually like Randy Orton, by the way. So that goes to tell you, for someone who likes Orton, I'll be the first to tell you, he should not be ending these shows in simplistic fashion. Just him on the ropes, posing. No cliffhangers. No, oh, I have to see Crown Jewel now for the best in the world. No fucking, I have to tune in next week for SmackDown. Just Orton. You know, his little fucking, the skies are opening and he's posing. That's it. SmackDown fades off into the fucking sun. So what was otherwise a good show ends in, like, simplistic garbage fashion. That's my take on it. And that's why you're here, for the Amplified Man's take. But I'm going to shut up now, guys. I know this was a longer SmackDown video, but I had a lot to get off my chest. I needed to talk to you guys. I needed to tell you what's wrong with the business. Yes, always dream and aspire, and your goal should be to get the heavyweight championship and to be in the main event. But you all can't be in the main event. You all can't hold the title, or else nobody would dream to be such. It wouldn't be anybody's goal. You just show up and you get the title thrown at you. Oh, we got a rookie? Put him in the main event at WrestleMania. And the rookie's like, yeah, duh. I've been here for 2 fucking days. Took you 2 days to put me in WrestleMania? The fuck? Much love, guys. You know this. Coffees and ass whippings. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yes, I am covering Crown Jewel. I know some content creators are like, I'm not going to cover it because I'm morally fucking epic. My morals went out the window years and years ago when I was a teenager, so I ain't got nothing to worry about. I will be covering Crown Jewel, guys. So, much love, respect. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the preview show, and we're going to preview this shit show. Chances are I'm going to get pretty fucking amplified, but we'll see. For now, check you later.